Good evening, guys. Welcome to the webinar. I guess we have about 80 participants and there are a lot more still coming in. I just want to confirm, am I audible? Okay, thank you. So I got it. So this is a 4 session series, and today we're going to be doing session 1. In session 1, I'm gonna try and complete or cover some of the aspects that we spoke about in the flyer that you all were able to see. And the aspects that we're gonna be looking at will be entrepreneurship. What is the difference between an entrepreneur and your daily job or your safe jobs? And what is the journey of an entrepreneur leading up to success or leading up to an unexpected result which you were not really aiming for. Okay, so failure I've seen. So I've come to India and I've been here for about I would say 6 to 8 months, and I've realized that there's a different mentality, there's a different social structure. I've spent most of my life outside India, so this is interesting what we can do together and get your feedback over here. All right, a small introduction about myself. My name is Syed Amir. I am the CEO of Incarta, which is the company looking at. The last company that I had was called AltoView. Actually, that's where I started. And 7 years ago, I launched 4 products from it, mainly web applications. And these web applications went on to be kind of successful, failure, and one of them actually became a software as a service. And today it's used by one of the top universities in the world. I don't know if you know, Les Paris-Sorbonne University in France. So that one product that we were able to build has driven the revenue for a lot of other research that we wanted to do and build. So that was so there were 2 realizations when we go and we want to start a company or we want to start something that is not available and it's our own new idea. The first thing you're scared of is people stealing your idea, which fairly said does happen, but there are 2 very important points you should know. When you tell your idea to a friend or a business partner, there's about like 10% chance of them stealing your idea. The reason being is, one, the idea is not something perceivable and something that they want to chase themselves. And second, normally you're the only one who cares about the idea. Other people don't. So you will have to trust a little bit of not being stealthy, because a lot of people want to be stealthy and they don't want to take user review. They don't want to see how customers feel if you give them let's say a product and then you don't get a feedback. So if you don't have a feedback, how do you improve your product, right? Now this is a dicey situation that you're left in. Do I make a product that no one knows and I just come out with it one day and everybody's like shocked? Or do I make a product which I give into testing and people who I trust and who I know and some pilot customers check it out and say, oh, we like it and maybe we would like to buy it. And then you can do improvements on it, right? So these are the only 2 scenarios in real life which you will have when you have an idea. Now I'm pretty sure looking at everybody's responses, I actually went through all your attendance sheets and registrations. So I know there are many of you over here who do want to do something on your own. Some of you who are here are just curious, and the others were just like, hey, let me just see how this is, right? So we have 3 categories of people here, and your age groups are between 19 to 23, and so I'm going to keep the conversation and aspects and ideas around that. So our second realization, which happens when you have a new product, is either you launch it, you're about to launch something amazing, and then you find out, oh, there are some new features in a software, or there are some new features available and I should add that, and then I'll launch it. So I will not launch it in 2020. I will launch it in 2021. But by the time you reach 2021, there's something better. Then you want to wait. So if you do this cycle of waiting till you have something like a nuclear bomb coming out, it's never going to happen, because someone else is going to make something in parts, it's going to be accepted in parts, and then it's going to organically grow into having a customer loyalty or a customer retention, which you will not have. So when you're making an idea, or when you have an idea, make sure you don't go stealth. It's something that I did, and I don't think it was the best idea to go stealth. It's always good to have a small group of people who can give you feedback and who you trust and who can work with you for a while. All right. So these are a couple of points that we'll be covering today. What is entrepreneurship? Who is an entrepreneur? Products and services, entrepreneurial process, benefits, and the core of this webinar, and where I have spent a little bit more time, is failure, which is unexpected results. So how many over here are in, I think there's a raise a hand option, okay? So you'll see at the bottom there's a hand, you can raise a hand. How many of you come from a business background, or have a business, or would like to start a business, who have already been in a business background? Let's say your dad is into business, or your brother is, or somebody you are with. So you can raise your hand. I think at the bottom of the chat, you'll see a raise your hand option. And if you don't see it, then you can just say 1. So you can type the letter 1. One second, let me see if I can. Rajat, Akira, Riddhi. Okay, there are a couple of them who are. Okay, is my screen visible to everybody? Let me resume my share. Okay, is it visible now? Because I think it was paused for a while there. Okay. Okay, so we're going to move to the table of content, what we were looking at. And I just asked how many of you are from a background of business or from an entrepreneur. Could be like, I know that Priya here is there, who comes from a family which has a business. So they know some things that you cannot read in books, the challenges of being an entrepreneur. But we're going to go a little bit of in a linear path to understand what is entrepreneurship, if it is something you are interested in, or is it just a word which is very difficult to spell? And to be honest, I still get it wrong. All right. What is entrepreneurship? Right. Entrepreneurship would be, for me, it's just an idea or an imagination for a problem that you see and you think you can be part of the solution. That's where usually entrepreneurs are born. Now there's a textbook definition here. It says creating something new of value by devoting necessary time and effort, accepting and acknowledging necessary financial, psychological, and social risk. Now, for a big part of my life, my mom was asked by other moms, you know, like I've realized, like in the Indian community, one mom will ask the other mom, hey, what does your son do? And my mom always had this answer, I have no idea. So that was the social risk, because most of the times when you're doing a startup, or when you have a small idea and you are sitting in a coffee shop and you can afford one coffee per 3 days, and you still want to get off the launch pad, it's not a very glorious space, and it's not a very glorious word, but it is a glorious journey. So you have to be ready for the journey more than the aim of just being rich or being that one hit wonder who became this amazing person and has a lot of money, drives expensive cars. So you have to be ready for a journey. You have to be ready for a passionate path which you pave yourself. Now, an entrepreneur is usually headed in a direction nobody else is. So basically, you're the only guy with a torch in a dark alley trying to find a way. Everybody else has a highway built for them with street lights and signals, and they know where they're going, right? So that's the difference between an entrepreneur. Well, I'm not saying you're completely blind if you go in a smart way with a business plan, with a lean canvas, which we're going to go through step by step. I'm just going to keep adding people who are coming in. All right, so the process of creating something new and assuming the risk and rewards. Now, what is the percentage of success of an entrepreneur according to you all? If I were to ask you, what is the, I can see some hands up. So is there a question, Sahil? Sahil and Rishabh. Okay, maybe it was earlier on. So I'll lower your hands. All right, so what is the percentage of success do you think an entrepreneur has? Let's say, what percentage do you think today, before, we'll take a percentage before and after. So what percentage today, if you were to start a business or a venture or a small idea, what is the percentage you think you would succeed between 0% to 100%? Can you guys just type so everyone can see? This is a feedback question. So what is the percentage? I'd say 1%. 1%. Okay. Let's see if that, Akash, let's see if that changes after we finish this webinar. 50%, 20, 20, 10, 30. Priya is very confident. I don't think there's a specific statistics that you can give to it. Priya, I would say yes and no, depending on the person and depending on your understanding of your landscape. So what is your landscape, right? Now, since I have a little bit of a background in the Middle East, if I was in the Middle East and I was selling vada pavs, which are sold over here, what is the percentage of me being successful selling vada pavs in Dubai compared to selling vada pavs in Pune? What do you think? Who would be more successful, in Dubai or in Pune? Just type Dubai or Pune. Pune. Okay. All right. So depends. Okay, I'm gonna give a chance to one of you to come on audio and prove why it would be Dubai, and one of you to come on audio and prove why it's going to be Pune. So there is someone who said Pune up front was Abbas. Okay, so Abbas, can you please tell us, I have unmuted you. So can you please tell us?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Abbas, you're audible.
All right. Probably it would not work in Dubai because of the rents, and I have lived there, so I don't even remember the last time I had a vada pav in Dubai. So the thing is, it's not like jitna bhi profit aayega, you can't pay the rent of it. So it's not profitable business.
Okay.
So
Priya, I have given you the option to unmute yourselves now. So when you're done with your, go ahead, Priya.
Yeah, so what I think is in Dubai, there's a new potential market that needs to be explored. At the same time, when you're starting out, there is no such competition. Like over here at every store, every corner you go, you'll find a vada pav stall. Over there, if you establish yourself as a premium brand, I believe you can really make it very successful, scalable, and like make it your full-time business.
Okay. So thank you for the feedback. I'll just mute you both, but you can unmute yourself now. Allow participants, yes. Okay, so the two kind of aspects or the first responses we got from Ria and Abbas were like, Abbas, like he's lived in Dubai, he has some landscape knowledge, and he's like, the expenses are too high. So he's talking from an operational expense point of view, which we're going to go ahead and see. So this is going to be interesting. All right, so how do you start? Now, let's say there's a problem. I live in Dubai and we don't get vada pavs or some Indian dish over there. And Ria has a question. I'll lower your hand. And Ria's idea is that she can go to Dubai and offer something premium and different, and then people are going to love it, and it's going to become a product, which I would say I am biased towards because I'm an entrepreneur. So I will try anything that is an idea, which even sounds 30% doable, because an entrepreneur has a certain characteristic. They are over optimistic and they're opportunist. Okay, so everything is an opportunity. So if I am in Dubai and I don't get this dish over there, it's an opportunity to provide it. Now, the question that comes, which Abbas has very nicely put in, is how long can I survive? Because Dubai is very expensive compared to me being in Pune, we're talking cities, not countries. So how will I be able to fit this solution? You can see stage. Okay, let me see if I have an annotate spotlight. Okay, so you can see the problem solution fit. Okay, in Dubai, we can have a stall which like vada pav, which is not available. We can make it premium and we can sell it. What is the product market fit for it? They can't eat chilies. They don't have the taste buds of Indians, but you have a large Indian crowd there. So there is a 50-50 chance of it being successful and not being successful. It completely depends. The success completely depends on you. So you have to build a base successful criteria. If my base successful criteria is I want to sell 2 or 3 sandwiches per hour and I sell 3, I am happy. But if my calculations say that per hour I have to sell 10, so my initial minimum success criteria is too high. So your success and your failure, of course, is decided by how much money you make and how much money you lose. That is for sure one of the most obvious tangible views of a success or a failure in a business. But the first 3 years you run a business, you're not going to be a one-hit wonder. When you have a startup, by default, according to UK Business Network magazine, it's 3 years that a startup has to run, organize, reorganize, rebuild, restructure, till they can reach a point where financially and by support and by customer review and by customer retention and the product, they are in a space where now they can be called a successful venture. So both your points are correct, but again, it completely depends on the person, on the situation, on your analysis, and your resetting your ideas. Okay, so no idea that I have ever had has been successful straight off. You know, what people see is like, oh, he did this and he has a software and now he has a revenue. 1, 2, 3, 4. But that's not the case. It's always 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 100 such steps, and then you see the last one. So this is the pathway that you have to take. And when the messy part comes in, that messy part is where your tenacity, your persistence, and your endurance comes in play. These 3 things are very important, and of course, a very positive set of mind. Because being an entrepreneur is not all, a bed of roses. It is a hard path to walk if you are not that lucky, but sometimes you are just in the right place at the right time and you pick the opportunity, and then you are just surfing the wave till you find something new to do. I'll just add these gentlemen. Okay, so who can be an entrepreneur? Quick question. Can you identify all of these people? If you can identify 6, then just type 6. So if you have all of them. First one with the 6 names, I'll call you on call. Ria. Amor. Ria, you already were on call, so I'll give the chance to Amor, who has responded right after you. Just to keep a healthy participation. So I guess one name took a little bit of time. All right. Amog, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Please come on call and let us know the names.
Yeah, hi guys. This is Amok. So the first one is Bill Gates, second one is Mark Zuckerberg, third one is Steve Jobs, fourth one is Richard Branson, fifth is Elon Musk, and fifth one is Jeff Bezos.
Yep.
If I'm not wrong.
Thank you. So right now, these guys, when they first came up with their ideas, which one of them was successful the first time they did anything? I would say, now I'll tell you the story about, I don't know if you know the story about Google, or you know the story about Microsoft, Bill Gates. Do you think Bill Gates actually made Windows? I know 5 Murtaza, that's fine, now you know all 6. So Bill Gates actually used to, when he was there, he has a very nice biography, you should read it. So when Bill Gates was just passed out from his university, he used to go around software companies' garbage cans. You know, you remember the old Dotmatics printers? They were like green and white paper, and they used to have drum roll and it used to print out. So usually software developers, when they used to make small pieces of softwares, they used to, if it's not good or not accepted, they used to just crumple it and throw it in the garbage. So what Bill Gates and his partner in crime used to do, after working hours, which is like around 6 p.m. when the companies close, they used to go to the garbage cans and look for these pieces of paper and try to see if they can catch some code with which they can have a eureka moment. And which they did when they found out they bought DOS. Does anyone know what's the full form of DOS? It's in Windows. Is anyone here who knows what DOS means? DOS? Okay, nobody. So DOS stands for Disk Operating System today. So that's what DOS stands for. However, initially when Bill Gates went and bought this piece of software, it was called DOS by the creator because it stood for Dirty Operating System. It was just a system which was not very good. And that's why he sold it to Bill Gates, and Bill Gates renamed it to Disk Operating System. And till today, most of us are using Windows. So that was his rags to riches story. Now, in a nutshell, we'll just cover the definitions. Entrepreneurship refers to concept development, managing a business, gain profit, and take several risks. Okay, it's you just have to be willing to start a business, and that's what makes you an entrepreneur. It's not doubting if, when, how. First, you take the leap of faith and say, yes, I want to do this. I have enough passion and faith that I want to do something different. I want to create something. And then you can learn the ladder and the ropes, and you can find mentors and they can guide you through. So some of the traits which I see in an entrepreneur myself is you have to be an innovator. You have to be able to see a problem and create a solution. That's number one. Your skills should be innovation and creativity through ideas and looking at businesses, and leadership and strong interpersonal skills with your team. So there are 2 types of businesses, right? There's product and services. What is the biggest services business that India has for America? Does anyone know? I'm pretty sure IT, yes, it is a service. IT is a service. I think it would come under IT. So India has the biggest service as IT, and that would be like BPOs, service centers, customer feedback centers, all of this stuff, right? R&D stuff. What is the product that India sells to other countries? So what product does India provide to other countries as a massive product? Okay, food stuff. We have a lot of farming that happens over here. So India does export a lot of food. It does now have cars, but they're not exported. Oil, not so much. India uses most of the oil for itself. As you know, our prices are very high of oil, so we try to use as much as possible. You don't export anything that is very expensive in your own country, because then you will have to import it, and that will cost you even more. So medicine, yes, we have a very strong medicine background. For example, Dr. Reddy medicine, Dr. Bharat, these are very nice products which are now sold outside. Okay, so this is the difference between product and services. Physical nature and it's tangible, and service is intangible, and therefore cannot be separated from the provider. So if you are a BPO, then you will be a BPO because that's the service you provide. But if you are a product, you can make different products from the same company and sell them. A business plan. Business is a means to an end. Do a life plan before you make your business plans. So a business plan, before you start a business, you need to look at a small plan, a small sketch. Okay, you need to be able to put your ideas into it, and when you just have a bird's eye view of what's going on, it kind of gives you a little bit more direction on where you're going. So a quick look. These are the bullets that you need to have in your business plan. What is your product or what is your service? Do you have a representation for your idea or service? I know this doesn't look very big to have a logo, but having a logo actually drives a lot of people. We are very visual beings. So if you have a good logo and a logo that depicts and drives people into your idea, then your teammates have an identity. So it's very important to have a good logo with an idea of product or service. Who are you going to give it? Like if you want to sell, who are you selling it to? How does it work? What's the process? How will you sell it? How will you market it? Why is it better than all the other things that are available? What is the investment? Who's going to invest? Are you taking loans or bonds or partnerships? Landscaping and competitions. Landscaping is nothing else but looking at your competitor and your market in a certain area or a certain zone. So let's say there's a pharmacy on X location and I want to open a pharmacy opposite it. Is that a good idea or it's a bad idea? Would you open a pharmacy opposite a pharmacy? Yes or no? Shabir Asgar, no. Sakshi Patel, no. User, no. Okay, so I'll just pick one of you. No. Okay, that's a lot of no. What if I said, okay. Okay. Yes, okay, Akash says yes. All right, so we have Akash and we have Sakshi. So let's put Akash up. I think Akash has made it very clear why he wants to buy it. Akash, you want to come on a call and let us know? And Sakshi, can you also come on a call? Sakshi Patel.
Well, that's all the reasons really. I've said it all, I think.
So you know that in a pharmacy, all the medicines have to be, in India at least, they are marked. So you can't sell something more expensive than the opposite pharmacy is selling. So basically you'll sell the same product and you will sell at the same price. And you're coming into a market where there's already a pharmacy, but you feel that because people have a sense in their head for a long time that, hey, there's a pharmacy here, you could kind of come in their eye quicker. Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. There was another voice at the back. Was it? Okay, Sakshi, can you come up and say why no?
Hi. So I think that with the same shop or pharmacy being right there in front of you, in terms of competition, it would affect you. Like in case you don't have some of the medicines or products, so they would be going to that shop. So the price being same, so I guess like it would not be that profitable. Like if you have it in a place where it's only you and your shop with no other similar shops nearby, the profit you make would be comparatively more.
Okay, so thank you. So now, have you seen, usually when you go to malls, you have McDonald's, KFC, Pizza Hut all next to each other? It's all food, and mostly you'll see wherever there's a KFC, there will be a McDonald's right next to it, or another fast food joint, or a Subway next to it. The reason why they do this, at least in the Middle East, I don't know in the malls over here how they function, but I've seen over here too, they kind of do the same thing. So the reason they do this is because when you're hungry, you will go to a place which either you're a McDonald's lover or KFC runner or a Pizza Hut fan. You're going to go in that direction. So you're going to not go to the bank where there are bank ATMs. You're not going to go to the bathroom area. You're going to go towards where all these fast food joints are all together. So your hunger is driving you to go towards this location. When you reach there, now it is a matter of, if let's say KFC is having 20 in a row. Haven't you guys done this when you go to the mall and you want to eat KFC, but there are like 80 people there, and then you see McDonald's, it has 5 people. Wouldn't you just go buy McDonald's even though you came there for KFC? Yes or no? No. Oh, Shabir is very... Okay, you really love your KFC. All right. In my case, maybe if I don't want to wait too long and it's like 80 people in a row and I know I'm hungry and, I'll just go for the McDonald's. So this is the mentality that they're keeping when you open one pharmacy and there's a pharmacy right opposite, which I've seen in India too. And people go to different pharmacies to get different stuff. Like if you go to wellness pharmacy, they have a little bit of a different product and services concept where they have muesli and all these expensive creams and all that stuff that you can buy. When you go to a drugstore or chemist pharmacy, he only has drugs. He'll have like iodine and all of this stuff that the other pharmacy doesn't have. So a little bit of variation, and you can still be in the same place, not doing competition, but maybe providing different kind of services and sometimes the same kind of services, but just that you're more available. Okay, return on investment. We're going to look at it a little bit in detail. So this is our lean canvas. The lean canvas is adapted business model. This businessmodelgeneration.com. You can go to this website. This canvas has been licensed under Creative Commons. Creative Commons is an American non-profit organization that has created this and put it up for public. So you can share this without any license, right? So when you have an idea, when you have an idea and you want someone to be part of it and you want to share your idea, this is the canvas you use. You just make this canvas by hand. What is the problem? What is the solution you're offering? What are the existing alternatives today? Kya solutions hai? Key metrics, unique value proposition. What is your high level concept? What are you offering? So here he's offering MailChimp. He's offering a mass mailing. Okay, people are still joining. He's offering a mass mailing solution. Okay, so what channels is he going to use? He's going to use blogs, workshops, content marketing, Facebook, Google, Instagram, whatever. What's the solution? Personal authority, respected domain, expert advisor. So customer segment, software company. So he wants to go to a software company so that he can sell data to them through MailChimp, which is a mail marketing system. And how is he going to make money? He doesn't want to sell his software. He wants to use, you see the revenue stream, it's called SaaS. Does anyone know what SaaS stands for? If you're from an IT background, you might know that. If not, then it stands for something in IT. Does anyone know what SaaS model stand for? Software. Okay. As a service. Yes, Amrita. So software as a service is the model that my first company used to work on, Altoview. And software as a service is a gold mine 5 years back, because usually people just sell their product, and once the product is sold, then you are unable to control the product anymore. In a SaaS model, the software always stays with you, but on the web, you allow them to use the software. Like Gmail is a SaaS. You don't own the mail, but you can always log in and use it, and it's always available to you over the internet. It's a software as a service. So the same model we sold to the University of Sorbonne, Paris Sorbonne, and they're still using it since the past 5 years. So that is one hit wonder that happened with the previous company. So software as a service is a very nice model where every month he's charging them $50 to keep the service alive. What is your cost? I need one developer, one designer, one marketer, server, free hosting. Okay. So this canvas is where you guys have to design your own little ideas. So if you have a piece of paper, a book, and a pen, just draw this on it with empty, the problem, the solution, unique value proposition, solution, and software. What are you going to do? So can you guys, I'll give you 2 minutes to quickly draw this. And when you're done, just send me a 1. Jeez. I still have people joining, but I'm going to admit them, but I don't know how far they're going to catch up with us. So can everyone please draw this lean canvas on a piece of paper or a book? And then you can send me the file and we'll take a look at it over here. You can take a picture and send it. Okay. Is everyone done with the drawing, or they're still drawing? So I'm not sure if you can hear me, if I'm audible, but if you are drawing, please send me a raise hand. Oh, done. Okay, amazing. All right. So Rajat Singh is done. You can drop your files to me here if you like, Rajat and Ria. Okay, we'll take the first two. Rajat and Ria, can you just drop your files in the chat? That's fine. That's fine. We'll run through it quickly. That's all right. If it's not clear, we can still take a look at it. Is anyone else done? Rajat, you can drop your file in the chat over here to me. So you'll see a file option. Do you have a file option? Okay. Try drag and drop, or else there's a file option over there. Okay, So either that, or I think you can share your screen if it allows you to. All right. So I'm not sure if we have that much time, but we'll keep your lean canvases and we'll go through the next steps quickly. So in your attraction model, now let's say you have a business. Let's talk about a flower shop, right? When when do you usually buy flowers? It's usually an occasion, right? The occasion can be a birthday, a funeral, a wedding. So this is where you buy flowers. If you were to open a flower shop, you would have to use an attraction model. So the first thing you use is the lean canvas. So the lean canvas gives you an idea of, let's go back. So the lean canvas gives you an idea of what your idea is. Let's say there's a problem, there are not enough flowers, flower shops in the area. You have to travel very far away. So the problem is to open maybe a fresh flower shop or an artificial flower shop, and or unavailability, and the solution will be for you to open the shop, right? And what area it would be. But to make that flower shop active, you need to have some outcomes over here. Incomes and outcomes, just ignore that heading for now. Just focus on this diagram. So this diagram has 5 points. Acquisition is how do you get your client to you. Okay. Activation is how do you inspire your client that once he comes into your shop, he feels good and he wants to be there. Retention is when you can convince the client to buy something. So before he leaves, you go like, hey, I have a discount, and it's a Christmas sale, or you've just walked in. If you like this, there's 20% off on these. So you're trying to retain the client so he doesn't go out. And if you have retained him and you convince him or her to buy what you have in your shop, then you make revenue. And when you make revenue, you've done a sale. So this model applies to every kind of business. It could be clothwear, could be flowers, toys. I mean, like when you go on Main Street, they try to sell you something, right? Especially if you sound like a foreigner or you dress like a foreigner, the price is double or triple. So this is their acquisition strategy. They try to stand there and they follow you and like, hey, they watch you, and then they know, okay, this person has the money and the capacity to buy, so they will chase that person. And if he turns around and he says, what's this? It's like, oh, a rainy season is coming, you need to buy umbrellas. So now you're activating. Okay, so this is your activation. So you're activating the customer who you chase, because your acquisition model is chasing the customer on the road. Then you activated him saying, haven't you heard the news? It's going to rain so much. Here, I'm giving you the umbrella like at a very cheap price. And then retention is when you convince him that yes, this umbrella is not too bad, the price is okay, and you give him like some more discount. Then he pays you, you make revenue, right? If he makes revenue and your product is good, he goes home, he says, hey, there's a guy over there, he sold me this for 30 rupees. It's not bad, I can use it like when it rains, once or twice. That's referral. So he goes back to his friends and says, hey, I bought it from this guy, there's a guy who stands over there. This is your business activation. What's a model for activation? Now we'll look at the flower shop. We talked about the flower shop, we'll look at the activation on the flower shop. So if you're modeling a flower shop activation based on what we just saw, acquisition will be foot traffic, people outside your shop looking at your glass, potential customers, window shoppers, or people who just walk in because they're bored or they're on a shopping spree. With current coronavirus, I think everything is on e-commerce, but this was when there was no COVID-19 around. So activation is once she's inside your store, do you have good perfume? Does it smell bad? That is your activation. Are you playing good music? So that person is like, I like to stay here. You have air condition on. It's summer. Oh, I feel good to be here. That's activation. That's how you see like most of the shops in the summer do better, which are in the malls, because there's air conditioning over there. Retention is activated. Visitors may not be ready to buy anything in the first, but you can still track and spend in the total count the future visits as retention. So you can say, hey, why don't you come back after 1 week? We have a Diwali, bonanza or Diwali discount happening. So you have retained that customer. Now the customer remembers, I want these shoes, but they're going to be 60% off in 1 week. So I'll come back. So you have retained that customer. You haven't lost it. And then when she does come back and buy what you had told her, it's a revenue. And she can go and give it as a referral. Hey, there's a discount there. And that's how your activation comes in play. So activation of a business is very important. If you just have these 5 points, you can activate your business very easily. And you can change these 5 points into what type of business that you're doing. Okay, incomes, outcomes is, I think it's a very nominal thing. Statement of profit, revenue, and earning. And outcomes is increased retention rates, how many more customers want to come back, improved acquisition rates, and increased revenue. Like how many more shoes you want to sell the person, or how many more clothes you want to sell the person. You guys are aware about CapEx and OpEx, right? Most of you must have heard about CapEx and OpEx. Fixed cost and variable cost. So CapEx is your capital, which you need to invest in a business to start, and OpEx is what you'll have to pay as salary, bills, electricity. So these are 2 costs that you need to calculate. Usually what happens is when people want to start a business, they only think about CapEx. Oh my God, I have to buy a stall. I have to buy, do the decoration, and it's going to cost me like 6 lakhs and my shop is ready. But to calculate 3 years of revenue and operational expenses, you have to keep it in. Because when you start a business, don't expect 3 mahine mein profit or in 6 months profit, because whatever you earn in the first 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, you're actually covering your loans which you took for the capex, for the capital. So you're recovering. So this is called the recovery time. It's not called the profit. But you are making profit in the books, but that profit is actually recovering you from the capital that you invested. So this brings us to the next thing, which is return on investment. Let's say I invested 1,000 rupees on a shop, okay? And the shop gives me 1 rupee profit, 1 rupee profit per day. Now the 1 rupee profit per day, when I say profit, it means minus my expenses, minus the salaries I'm paying, minus my electricity bills, minus my rent, everything, I get 1 rupee profit, right? So that 1 rupee profit, I need to calculate this 1,000 rupees, how long will it take for me to recover? Okay, so it's going to take me 1,000 days to recover my 1,000 rupee investment. That is my return on investment. Okay, it's not my profit, it's still a return on investment. Maybe from that 1 rupee, I will keep 50 fills for my expenses and enjoyment, and I'll keep 50 fills. No, you say paisa. 50 paisa for putting it back in the company. Then it'll take me 2,000 days to recover what I had invested. So you have to understand that when you buy something and you start selling, you're not actually making profit. You're recovering the cost of your capital investment. Now, if you want to calculate, if you want to calculate an investment, then it is divided by cost of the investment. So this is the formula, a simple ROI formula: gains versus investment divided by investment cost. So that will give you what is the gain or winning that you have over time. So this formula is profit divided by investment. Basically, that's your ROI. You might want to take a screenshot of this. This can help you in your calculations with any small business or a large business that you're doing. Okay, now this is a small example that we were talking about on return on investment. If I put 100 rupees, am I going to recover it? If my product selling price is 20 rupees, but my profit is 10 rupees per month. So in 10 months, I'm going to get my investment back. And after 10 months, what I earn is going to be pure profit. So that's the difference between ROI net profit, and your investment, or your capex, which is your capital investment. So you got to calculate all of these things before you start any business, and then just sit back and see. Now, in my case, since I had another company which was giving me revenue, I had to sit back and see this revenue or this profit now that I'm earning, how can I divide it to start another company? So I take the expenses of salaries, expenses of rent, expenses of prototyping new products. Okay, I have enough time. So I have like 1 year, 2 years to just keep investing to see if some new product comes out of it. So that's the idea. Any questions at this point? Raise your hands. If anyone has any questions, you can either type . Okay. So I guess what we missed out was this model that we were talking about. Please take a screenshot of this. This is the model of acquisition, activation, retention, revenue, and referral. So this is the model that you'll be using for designing the activation of your business. The next is a model of a flower shop that we discussed. You can take a screenshot of this. It's acquisition, the footfall traffic, activation, retention, how do you make them stay and buy something, the revenue, what she pays you, and the referral, if they go and tell someone else. Return on investment is the formula that we were discussing over here. ROI is basically your profit, which is your winnings minus your investment, what you give back, divided by your investment into 100. So this is a formula that you need to use to calculate all. Could you give some methods of activation and retention? Okay, activation and retention. So activation, let's go back there. Activation and retention. So activation is, you know, when you go into Nike store, I'll give you an example of activation. They have a glass door. Okay, they have air conditioning going on, so they have artificial, you know, like other shops, they don't have air conditioning, but Nike has air conditioning going on, or BHS, United Colors of Benetton. If you see those shops on Main Street, they have air conditioning going on. They have very nice spotlights, which are lighting up the new arrivals. Okay, this is all activation. Acquisition is that they stop, they know your brand, they walk in, they see from the glass, they like the colors, they walk in. Activation is good smell, a smile, you walk up to them, hey, how are you doing? How can I help you? Good presentations in your shop. That is activation. Retention is where you either take a promise from a customer or you convince the customer that yes, she can buy now or maybe come back later and buy it. Does that answer your question? Vadit? One did? Okay, great. We are almost towards the end. Okay, so we're coming at the good part, failing. So this is the last part of the session. It's about failure, or as Buckminster said it, there is no such thing as failed experiment, only experiments with unexpected outcomes. There's a very important question for everyone here. And the question is, can you identify these and tell me what is common in them? Penicillin, microwave, X-ray, gunpowder, plastics, and vulcanized rubber. What's common about them? Do you know what's the common thing about them? Failures, I would not say failures. Is there anybody else with an answer? Yes, they were discovered by accident. So accidental discoveries. Penicillin, microwave, X-ray. X-ray was by, I think, Marie Curie, Dr. Marie Curie, gunpowder, plastics, and vulcanized rubber. All of this is discovered by mistake. Today you're holding a phone, a laptop, a PC. All of that involves this. X-rays are gamma rays, which are used in TVs and cathode tubes in the beginning. Plastics are used everywhere. Microwave is there. Okay, could you give a clear distinction between activation and acquisition? Okay, Ria, let me take you on. Ria, come on a call. And I think the same question was by Vandit. So Vandit and Ria, can you both come on call?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm there.
So Ria, activation is, let's say you're walking down, you're hungry and you're walking down Main Street. And there are a couple of shops that you can see on your right-hand side. Some shops are well lit. Some shops have wood. Some shops have glass with lights and neon lights, and it says there's good food here. So that is activation. So from these 4 shops, you're going to choose one shop, either because you know them from your previous referral, or there's a retention on you, which is you've eaten and you loved it, or it's just that they are so well presented that you stop and you're like, hey, let me walk in here. You're not going to buy anything usually. And let me take an example of girls, because guys usually walk in when see, guys don't walk into shops when they don't want to buy something, but girls, they like to discover everything that is there, and they will only
we like window shopping a lot.
Yes, so your presentation in your window is your activation. So the glass window, when you walk by and you see shoes kept properly, and if it's Christmas, they have this cotton and some decoration and shine and light. You're like, oh, that looks really nice. I'm gonna go in. So you're activated. Acquisition is when you walk in, and then the smell of the place, the ambience, the air conditioning, the space to sit and to try the shoes, the guy is attending to you. That is acquisition. So that is the difference between activation and acquisition.
Isn't acquisition when you've actually first gotten your customer?
No. So don't take acquisition in okay. So let me go back a little bit.
I'm taking it in the sense as customer acquires the good for the first time.
Okay. So acquisition is just the way the word has been put, is you have acquired a customer who's walking outside. So there's a street and you're inside the shop. Imagine you're inside the shop. You want to acquire one of these customers to just walk into your shop. Okay?
Okay.
So
and that's activation. So you basically
to pull them to kind of from the 50 people who walk by your shop, you acquired 3 people. So your acquisition has been 3 out of 30. Okay? When the 3 come in, maybe one person is okay with any kind of climate inside your shop, any kind of smell in your shop, because they love you and they have been buying from you for 10 years. But someone else who's new will be like, oh, what's that awful smell? He's like, yeah, I'll come back. You have lost the customer. So your activation did not happen, but your acquisition happened. So you can see on my screen, number 1 is acquisition, which is how do you first identify users who you can attract? Activation is what is the first value experience. When I walk in, the smell is good. The person walks up to you smiling. Hello, sir. How can I help you? He has a smile on his face. Oh, yes. Now you feel comfortable. And then you see they have a nice space to sit and try shoes on. Now you're very close.
Your job is done.
Yeah. Now you're activated. So you're an activated customer. You're asking for shoe sizes, colors. Come on, bring me this and let me try this. Let me walk in this. Let me see this. You're an activated customer. So you'll see when you're at that position, the salespeople will be running faster, giving you more attention than when you were just about to just walk in.
They're more inclined to serve you because they think you're very likely to make a purchase.
Yes.
I think that's what I've seen.
So they're very, not that you will make a purchase. They're very inclined to think that they have retained you. She tried 5 shoes, she didn't buy any, and she walked away. But it's in her mind that there are 5 shoes she has tried. Maybe if she doesn't find something better, she'll come back and buy. So the retention has happened, and they're waiting for the revenue. And when you buy it, if you like it, you get the referral.
I think activation basically depends on the service provided inside overall,
Yes.
and it can make or break your sale. But if you do not acquire, if you don't get them into your shop, then there is no scope at all.
Yes. So if
Right?
you don't have an acquisition, your activation doesn't matter. That's why your
Yeah.
presentation. Do you know people are paid a lot of money for window? I don't know what they're called, but they're called window artists, or they have a certain
Visual merchandising. I
Thank you
think
very
for
much.
clothing it says visual merchandising for like big brands. Like if you say Tommy Hilfiger, H&M. Like
Yes.
I'm just talking about clothing, as you said. I'm a big fan of window shopping, so
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
so-
they're paid really high.
So you see, you know that stuff is very expensive, but you still stop by it and you're like, wow, that looks nice because of the presentation. That is acquisition. They spend a lot on acquisition because they know that from 50 people, only maybe 3 or 4 are going to buy from the shop because the price is too high, and the it's like maybe it's like a birthday or something special. Then they will go and buy a Tommy Hilfiger, right? You're not going to go out and buy every day. Oh, I need a yellow T-shirt. Let me go to Tommy Hilfiger and get my yellow T-shirt. You're not going to do that, right? So
Yeah.
their acquisition strategy is different, and their retention of customer is different. So it will be occasional, but they have to make that sale, and they have a price tag to it, so they can cover all this time period that is lost. So the retention for you to become someone who wants to buy that, there's a long retention time. Maybe another birthday, maybe your dad's birthday or something, you know. So there's a retention time is very long, but their price is very high. So all of these things need to be understood. When you go to a vada pav stand, the retention time is like 1 second because you just want to eat it. You're like, give it to me. I know what I want to eat. There's nothing else around here. Just give me one. I'll give you 10 rupees. Okay, it's 12 rupees. It's more expensive than the other guy. I'll eat here because you just like the guy. You've been eating from him for years. How does
All right. Thank you so
activation?
much.
Okay, so how does activation, Anish? Ria, thank you. I'll bring Anish on call. Anish, you can come on call. So how does activation work in e-commerce? Anish, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Anish, activation in e-commerce would be basically how you design the flow of your web page. So what is
Okay.
the home page or what's the landing page they hit? If you have an e-commerce website, you'll be advertising. So your acquisition is through advertising. So
Okay.
if you're not on Amazon, and if you're not Flipkart as such, and you're a new e-commerce platform, okay, like let's say mybanya.com, okay, so you're like MyBanya, and so MyBanya, how many people know here? Nobody. How do you promote it? You have a e-marketing strategy. So that's your acquisition. You go to Instagram, you have like a marketing in Instagram, you do on Facebook, you start doing a little bit of SOE. So if there are people who do Google search, you'll come first, right? So that's your acquisition. That's your acquisition.
Okay.
They will see, oh, MyBanya is selling it for like 10 rupees cheaper than Amazon. He's new, I don't know him, but you know, the product is only costing 200 rupees. What do I lose? Let's try. So they will click on it, and then they will come to your website. If your website is presentable, it's user-friendly, it's easy, it has all the ease flow of payment. I accept Google Pay, I accept Paytm, I accept anything. They are comfortable.
Okay.
They're like, oh, okay, I like this, the price is good. And how do you retain them? Retention is when you ask them to register. If you register, you get 10% off on your first product. So they registered, right? They don't buy anything. They walk away. But now you have their email. So when you have a sale coming in, which no one else is offering, you can send an email, and he or she will see it in the inbox. Oh, this product is now available, which you liked, is now available at 40% discount. He's going to come back and buy it, and that gives you revenue.
Okay, got it.
So in e-commerce, this will be the scenario. You're welcome.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions on the activation models? Okay. So let's go to our favorite part, failure. So you see the black circles over here. There is learn, build, measure. Any product that you built, like right now Anish was talking about e-commerce. You could have an idea about e-commerce, you could build it, it becomes a product, and then you measure, and it doesn't measure out. There's something wrong. Okay, you're not making the money you thought you would. You're not making the sales you thought you would. Then you collect the data. You collect the data, you see what time people come in, what are people buying on other platforms, what are the products you should have that you don't have that people buy on other platforms. You learn. And this learning phase is analysis. And this analysis changes your idea a little bit and you start again with idea. Okay, so where is that? Yeah, so you start with the idea, you go to the build, you build the idea, product, measure, data, learn, analyze, next action. So when you come to the next action, what is the next action? You change the idea and you start again with idea. This is a continuous cycle that you'll have to use in every single product, every single service, every single business that you want to do. Even, you know why McDonald's is so successful and why they give you a sandwich in 5 minutes. When you make it at home, it takes you like 10 minutes for one person. It's because they've gone through this cycle. Where should be the French fry machine? Where should be the counter? Where should the manager be standing? Where do the orders show? So they have been revising this for years, and that's why they have a process which is so smooth. You don't even come to know, and boom, your sandwich is ready, right? So this is very important. Okay. So from here, so this is how, if you go a little bit in detail, you have an idea, you built it, you measure it, it's good or not good, you learn, and from that learning, you see which one works. If you you change the idea, the next action works, then you make an idea again, you build again, and maybe it wins, maybe it doesn't. So you have to keep trying number of iterations. And from these iterations, you will understand that maybe one of them is working, maybe one of them you want to keep, maybe one of them you want to change, and maybe one of them you want to just retire. You don't need it. So this is a very important aspect where people call it failure, you call it unexpected results, and you call it learning, because that's one of the key personality traits of an entrepreneur. You will fail 100 times so that you can learn how you do it right 101 times. Now, meetings and discussions. When you are having meetings and discussions on your ideas that, okay, I made this this sandwich and it didn't sell. Can we all sit together and have an idea? What should we change? Okay, so we're talking about this part. We're talking about the learning part. So you want to change your initial idea, right? Because it didn't work out. So how do you change it? You sit with your team. You understand what is the problem and you create choices. Okay, shall we change it to brown bread or white bread? People here are very healthy, multigrain or not. You make a choice. Okay, the price has gone up a little bit. You try it. Then you see people buy it more because they don't mind paying more money and eating healthy, or people buy it less because they don't want to buy something so expensive. So it all depends. So your meetings and discussions should always come with a defined solution, and that defined solution needs to be injected into your learning phase and should update your idea to an evolved idea so that you can retry it and see what you can do. I'm afraid for this session, this is all the time that we have. You guys can look us up and follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and that's our website there, encarta.org.